I used to work at a comic store. One day a man with mental disabilities comes in and asks to use our restroom. We didn't have a public restroom, but were located right next to a Kroger. Upon telling the man that we didn't have a public restroom and the Kroger does, he proceeds to drop his pants and take a *T right in the middle of the store. We had to call the cops. They escorted the man out of the building and we had to have a cleaning service come in and sanitize the carpets. I love my job. I work with special needs kids. One kid was trying really hard to get another staff to tell him she didn't like him. I was walking down the hall one day and she was standing outside the bathrooms trying really hard not to laugh. I kinda raised my eyebrows to ask what was up and she nodded to the bathroom door. I peeked in as I walked past and there he was, plunging the toilet with his foot screaming, "How do you like me now?" As I walked away trying not to laugh, I heard her calmly say, "I like you just fine." Best day ever. I worked at a park in my town and my job, along with a few other high schoolers, was to prepare the baseball diamonds to be played on in the evening. One day after it rained, my buddy and I were in the park truck driving around to the fields and looking at the mess the rain made on them. Our boss comes up to the truck and says, "Hey, go over to Diamond 3 and start pulling water off. I'm gonna start over here at 6. So we drive over to the field and look at it. It's not bad. My friend turns to me and says, "Hey, let's play Heatbox." Now I've played Heatbox before, and was not excited to play it again, but I don't like to lose, so I agreed. If you have never heard of Hatbox, I'll explain. You roll up the windows, crank up the fans in the car, and turn the heat on full blast. The loser is the one who opens his door or rolls down his window first. So we start. Now mind you, this is a particularly hot and humid day after rain, and it's about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot. After an hour our boss comes over to the field and looks at it, sees it's not done and turns around looking for the truck until he spots us. He runs over to us, obviously looking a bit pissed off, and looks in at us. It was at this time we agreed to a draw and opened the doors. The look on his face was one of the most, "Are you king kidding me?" looks I've ever seen. Luckily he was cool about it. Told us to get working on the field and not to goof off anymore. He also didn't punish us since we were basically dripping in sweat after we stepped out of the truck. Good times at the park. I used to be a bra fitter in a department store a few years ago, and I got quite a few characters come through, from a busty bride bawling in the cubicle because the only bra we had in her cup size in bridal wear was £50, and she couldn't afford it, and a transvestite, not transsexual. We asked him and he confirmed he was a male, identified as a male, just liked wearing women's clothing, asking for a fitting and someone to help him pick out cute underwear. Anyway, the story I'll always remember is one Saturday a lady comes in asking for a fitting. Her old bras were worn out and while she's here she thought she may as well get fitted, which is pretty much the most common reason we got a lot of drop-in fittings. Well, I went to fit this lady, came back with a bra and she took the bra she was wearing off in front of me, which some ladies do if they feel comfortable. Now I am very short, and this lady was quite a bit taller than me. I was at chest level and saw that one nipple was inverted. This isn't that unusual, my mum had inverted nipples and the lady apologized, saying that her nipple sometimes does a weird thing, so I gently told her that she should probably get it checked out, if it's only just happened. I then found her a set of underwear she was happy with and she left. Fast forward a few weeks and the lady came in and I didn't recognize her right away. She said hi and thanked me for fitting her, and mentioning the inverted nipple, she went to the doctor and it wasn't anything really serious, just an infection, but she was really nice and thanked me for being concerned. Now I work at a pet shop and I don't see boobs on a daily basis anymore, but I do get to see a lot of puppies. I love my job. Oh boy, I delivered pizza for the last year, and while everyone is usually really boring, you get the occasional crazies. There's this one guy I deliver to regularly, often enough that most drivers I work with know exactly what their tip is gonna be before we get there. Used to be a pretty big coke head. He's a bit older now and at the youngest he'd be in his late 50s. He shakes as though he's got Parkinson's, but overall he's a pretty cool guy. He doesn't do any more drugs, has quite a bit of money, but his property looks awful. Fast forward to my last night of work, for I'm leaving for school soon and want to have my last month off, and I deliver to this guy again. The delivery ticket this time says go to the back, which I've never been to, and change for a $100 bill, so I had exact change on me. I pull into his huge driveway and walk to the back, to be met by this awful-looking woman who must have been in her 60s, clearly drugged out on something, I think meth or coke, and she's got a 3-year-old girl with her. I get to the gate and look in the back and it looks like AF * King Tropical Paradise. Huge clean pool, 2 waterfalls going into the pool, tropical-looking hut type things, it was really F * King cool. The lady asks me how much the food was, and I tell her only to explain that I have exact change, so she just needs to give me the 100 and I'll give her the change. She pauses, and tells me to wait a second. The guy who lives there is in the pool asking if I don't have the change, she mumbles, and comes back with the same $100 bill and a $1 bill. I hand her the money, she hands me hers, I give her the food. Then she asks for the dollar back, counts out 4, and then takes 1 away, and puts another $2 in. It was strange to say the least. After more fumbling she finally gives me my tip. She then leans on the fence and looks at me with her glossy and dilating eyes to say, "Why no, I'm sorry, it's been a long day." Being over 90 degrees all week I explain that I understand only to be cut off with, "You know what I mean," and a creepy smile. And for a second I didn't know what she meant until this, I mean like. Why no? I live right down the street and it gets lonely. You're a handsome boy and I've got stuff for a party so I can show you a good time. I almost cried because of how scared I was. Creepy old lady on drugs asked me to do drugs and then F * CK her. Why? I don't know. Because drugs. I told everyone at work what happened, and only a few drivers who know I don't lie believed me. I'm scarred for life. TLDR lady on drugs asked delivery boy to do blow and F * CK her brains out later that night.